I get messages all the time from different people who have been following my 1 to 1 million journey, and they're reaching out to say thank you, they're reaching out to say hi, they're reaching out to give me like maybe a tip or like an idea. But probably the most common message that I get from people goes along the lines of, hey, I've been following your journey for a long time now. It's crazy how far you've gotten. I want to do something similar. Where should I get started? And each time I get a message like this, I genuinely want to help this person. So I try to think through what is the best piece of advice that I could give them on how to get started. And so for me, I just think what's been the most helpful for me on my journey, and I usually reply with something like, focus on growing yourself, focus on compounding your habits, focus on just learning each day. And what I've noticed is when I give a reply like this, people tend to almost immediately excuse what I have to say. It's just not the answer that they want to hear. See, I know what they actually want to know is like the secret formula for success. Like, go do this thing, deposit money here, try this side hustle. You've probably heard the story of Michael Jordan. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. He didn't make the team because he wasn't good enough to play on the team. So what did he do? Did he go to the school principal and say, hey, this isn't fair. Like, I deserve to be on that team because of this, and you need to put me on that team because, you know, like make an extra spot because it's not fair. No, he could have done that and it maybe even would have worked, but that's not what he did. What he did instead was he took ownership. He said, hey, I might not be good enough to be on this team, but I'm gonna make myself into the greatest player of all time. He focused on becoming better. He practiced longer and harder than everyone else. And then he went on to become one of the greatest basketball players the NBA has ever seen. Instead of focusing on some hacks to get him on his high school basketball team, he focused on becoming so good that they just couldn't ignore him. If you've never seen the show Undercover Billionaire, it's like one of my favorite shows. I highly recommend it. They take a billionaire, they give him $100, they give him a beat up old truck, and they drop him off in a random city in the US where they've never been. They change their name, take away all their contacts, all their influence, all their resources, and give them the challenge of trying to make $1 million business in just 90 days. And the first guy they have do this is a guy named Glenn. I think he's the guy that originally came up with the idea for Undercover Billionaire because he wanted to prove that success was possible for anyone. At the very beginning of the show, Glenn ends up having a really hard time. He's like sleeping in his truck. It's like -degree weather. He's freezing cold. He keeps waking up in the night and just throwing up. And what they actually never tell you in the show is at the time they were filming the show, Glenn was recovering from cancer and actually undergoing treatment during the entire filming process of the show. He couldn't eat normal food, so instead he had like a feeder that was connected to his stomach that was hidden under his clothes where he would, put a little capsule in that would feed him food. And no one in the show actually knew about this. So the show starts, and within a month, he's already worked his way through different side hustles and turned that $100 into a house that he's working on renovating and flipping. He builds a team, not knowing anyone in the city he's at. He raises capital, starts a barbecue restaurant, goes and competes in this crazy competition, and I won't spoil the ending and how much he ends up actually making, but I will say it is over $500,000. He did all that while recovering from cancer with just $100 in a beat up old truck when nobody knew who he was. And he was able to accomplish that because he had built a foundation for success that meant he was able to succeed no matter the circumstances. I mean, almost any book out there, if you read a book by somebody who's hyper successful, who went from nothing to just this hyper success, they're going to tell you that they did it by focusing on building the foundation first, and then everything else came secondary, which is the exact opposite strategy that 99% of people are attempting when they're trying to become successful. What they're trying to do is they're saying, hey, I want to be super successful, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this super awesome tactic, this super awesome strategy and formula that's going to get me hyper successful. And then once I'm successful, I'll know how to be successful. However, what people who have started from nothing and built out this crazy successful empire say is that they first focus on becoming a successful person, adopting the mindset of a successful person, on learning, on building better habits, on building a better routine, and then success comes to them. And I totally understand. Like, I remember when I was the guy that was looking for the secret formula to success. I was focusing on the tactics, on the methodology, because I thought that is where I would find the success that I was looking for. But success isn't a formula, it's a lifestyle. And I'm not talking about driving a Ferrari or owning a yacht or owning a mansion, or I'm not even talking about having a lot of money. Okay, when I'm talking about success, I'm talking about success in all areas of life. I'm talking about building wealth, yes, but I'm talking about having a successful marriage, being a successful parent, building successful friendships, living a life that's just filled with joy and peace, and just success radiates in every area of your life. How many times have you seen a person who has a lot of money, but they're absolutely miserable. Their family's falling apart. They're addicted to drugs, and everything about their life is just a mess. Yes, they have a lot of money, but would you actually consider them to be successful? I personally wouldn't, because the thing you want money for isn't so that you could just have a lot of numbers in your bank account. It's not so you could have a mansion. It's not so you could have a Ferrari. The reason you want money is because you want to be happy. You want money so that you can live a life you enjoy. You want to travel so you can be happy. You want a mansion so you can be happy. You want this Ferrari or this nice car, or to be able to buy anything you want because you want to be happy. And so if you end up getting all the money and all the things, but you're not actually happy, then you haven't succeeded at your goal. You're not successful. And usually the people that end up being miserable when they make a bunch of money, that ends up happening because that person never originally built that success foundation. And that's what I mean when I say success is a lifestyle. It's about becoming a better version of you. It's about pushing yourself to your limits in an awesome, amazing way where you live up to your potential and become the best version of you physically possible. And obviously that's not like there is no actual destination on the scale of the best version of you. That is a journey that just never ends and you're always going to be on. But I've personally found that the people that take that journey are happier, they're wealthier, they have better families, they have better lives, and their lives are filled with peace and joy, and they're able to achieve the success that they were after in the first place. You see, somebody who's at peace and they're happy, people like to gravitate towards people like that, which means they're gonna get more opportunity. They're gonna get more help. They're gonna have access to more resources. On the other hand, people who have not built that success foundation, they're at home, they're struggling, they're fighting with their wife, they're fighting with their husband, they have a horrible relationship with their kids. You don't think that that carries over into their journey of trying to build wealth? Of course it does. You're gonna have a harder time reaching your goals if you are struggling hardcore at home. You're gonna have a hard time reaching your goals if you have horrible relationships with your friends. You're gonna have a hard time reaching your goals if you're a bitter, angry, unstable person. If you take somebody who's undisciplined, unorganized, and you're like, hey, go start a business, it's gonna fall apart because they haven't built that success foundation. But if you take somebody who has built that foundation, they're organized, they're disciplined, their home life's going great, they have close friendships, they're a happy, awesome, positive person, they've built amazing habits that they're compounding every single day, and you give them $100, a beat up old truck, and drop them off anywhere in the country, it doesn't matter the circumstances, they will find a way to succeed because it's in their nature to be successful. Success permeates every aspect of their life. So that's why when people reach out to me and they ask me, how can I do something similar to your journey? How can I start? Like, where do I start at? I don't tell them some tactic or I don't tell them some formula. Like, yes, on my YouTube channel, I do share ideas that I'm trying or different ways that I'm trying to build my wealth. And you guys are welcome to follow along with those and learn about those. But the part that I really try to push across to people and say, hey, this is gonna make you successful is that part of improving yourself, working on yourself, building those habits that you're compounding all the time, learning each day. Usually the first thing I say is, hey, listen to audiobooks every single day. Listen to some of the most successful people on the planet, have them pour into your lives on a daily basis, and that success is gonna be contagious. Watch your life change as you take this in and start applying it to your everyday. This is genuinely what I 1000% believe. And although it's not the answer you want to hear, and it's not the thing you want to hear, maybe look at that and examine that and say, hey, if most people want to hear a certain answer and they have tunnel vision because they're looking for only that answer, maybe that's why most people are average. Maybe that's why most people don't find success, because success is an average and it's in the place that most people aren't looking and they aren't focusing on, and they won't even pay attention to when somebody grabs their face and says, this is what you gotta do, which is what happens to me a lot. I have friends that are like, they want to build their wealth. They want to be successful. I'm like, just do this, please. I beg some of these people, like, please, like, I like, go do this. Like, here, read this book, this book, start this daily habit. And no matter how hard I try, it's just like, they won't hear it. They can't see it. I just like, it drives me crazy because I'm like, I want to help you so bad. I want to see your life change so badly. I want to see you become and reach your maximum potential. Anyways, like, when I started recording this, I actually had an entire different topic for this video that I was gonna get into, and I'd like written out like my notes, like my, bullet points, but I ended up kind of getting into this, what I was talking about so much that I skipped all of that. So I'll save that for a future video. I was gonna talk about extreme ownership. So I'll talk about extreme ownership in a future video. But today, this is what I wanted to share because I genuinely have this desire that like, I feel almost this accountability. Like I feel like all these people are watching me on YouTube. And I know everyone watching me, every single subscriber is a real person with a real life out there. And some of the stories that I've read in the comments or got messages from, you guys are going through some really difficult stuff. Some of you guys have been laid off from your jobs. Some of you guys are 50 years old. You've been working for a company, they let you go and you have no idea what you're gonna do. Some of you guys have lost your life savings, you're about to go bankrupt. And I know you guys are listening to what I'm saying. And so I really hope that some of these videos are really helping you guys. And so I wanna communicate and I wanna give you guys the things that I feel like are the secrets that most people don't recognize, they don't know, they can't see. I wanna share those things with you so you guys can watch your life change. I don't have a course, I don't have a coaching program, I don't have anything to upsell you to from this video. This is just me being genuine and saying, hey, I want to help you. And here's everything I got. Here's everything that I've learned. I'm still learning, I'm still on my journey, but here's what I've learned is like, these are the things that are getting me to where at least I'm at currently. And these are the things I'm hearing a lot of really successful people say and that I believe are gonna help you in your journey reach where you wanna go. Please let me know your questions in the comments below or let me know just if this video has been helpful to you or maybe a little bit about your story. I read every single comment that is posted. It takes me a long time, but I do go through every single comment and I try to respond to almost every single question I get. I'm a little bit behind right now, but I do genuinely read every single one. If this video has been helpful, make sure you hit that like button. It helps this video get out to more people. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and then you gotta hit the little bell next to it if you want to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.